Hello everyone, greetings of the day. My name is Swami. One of my hobbies is reading the books. In that way, I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad written by Robert T. Kiyosaki. So let's review this book quickly in this video. Before we are going to review this book, we would like to understand about the author Robert T. Kiyosaki. Robert was born in 1947 in Hawaii, but he is living in Phoenix right now. If you look at his jobs, he started with the Standard Oil. He was working there 6 months, and then he moved to U.S. Marine Corps, where he was working 2 years, and then he moved to Xerox company, where he was working as salesman for 5 years. Then later he started his own company. So he is not only author, but also he is the best one of the investor and business owner also. The Rich Dad Poor Dad book, which is you might think Robert might have two dads, Rich Dad and Poor Dad. So this is not like that. Rich Dad, whenever he mentions Rich Dad, he is talking about his friend's dad, his friend name called Mike. His dad, that is what he is mentioning as Rich Dad. And wherever he mentions as a poor dad, he is talking about his own dad. He is not actually poor, but when it compares with the financial thinking, he thought like he is a poor dad, but he is actually a doctorate. He is a well educated father for Robert T. Kiyosaki, and he has written so many books, and some of the books I have highlighted over here. The one of his best-selling book is Rich Dad Poor Dad since the year 2000. He has mentioned so many things when it comes to the part of Robert T. Kiyosaki. So you can look at this one. I'm not going to go through each and every point because that might take some time. It may make this video lengthy. So you can pause and read through all these things. Okay, let's see the book overview before getting to in detail. Robert and his friends Mike, they started learning how to become the rich in the year of 9 years. When they were 9 years, actually there was an incident happened that their school friends was not invited Robert for one of the beach house party, where he then the reason they told to Robert is like, okay, you guys are poor, we will not be able to invite for the party. Then he started thinking how I'm poor, you're saying I'm poor, okay, then how I can become rich. And Mike and Robert started thinking about it. That's when they reached out Rich Dad. He started guiding Robert and Mike on their career, and they became very successful rich men now. So we will see in detail how they became rich, and all his experience he has shared in this book. So Robert started working 3 hours every Saturday. The Rich Dad paid them 10 cent dollar per hour, and that's how they started it. In this book, he has spoken about asset versus liability. I will cover up in the next slide what is the difference between asset and liability, how you can earn the asset, how you can get rid of liability. And in this book, he has spoken about like how important the financial literacy, because in the school days, like we don't have the separate subject for finance, right? We used to study about history, science and mathematics, but we don't have separate subject, and we don't have deep knowledge on the financial things. So that's what he has spoken about in financial literacy. And he's spoken about wealth also, how important the wealth for someone. And also he is talking about pay to yourself first. This is a separate chapter altogether. I will cover up later. And also he has spoken about what is the difference between the occupation and the business. And he also used to suggest in this book to read a lot of things so that you can earn passive income out of that. Okay, the book contains totally the 9 chapters, and the final one is the final thoughts, where he has shared his thoughts and the ideas how to become the rich from poor and middle class. We will see the each and every chapter one by one. The chapter number one. In the chapter number one, that is rich don't work for money. What he is trying to emphasize is the poor and the middle class people are working for money, but the rich people have money work for them, which is nothing but like they acquire so many assets. From there they are earning the money, which means like they make the money to work for them 24 hours. So that's what this chapter is all about. And then there are so many points actually. The book is 300 plus pages, so if I start cover up each and everything, it will take long time. So you can pause this presentation, go through each and every point, which is absolutely necessary, and we all have to understand it and start following it. And then going to the next chapter, where he has spoken about financial literacy, how we can acquire the knowledge on finance, and how it will be more important for our life to become rich. So that's what he has spoken about in this chapter. Particularly the asset. What Robert is saying asset is anything that that brings money into your pocket, that is called asset. Anything that draws money out of your pocket, that is called liabilities. Okay, so there are so many ideas he has shared in the upcoming slide, how you can earn the asset, how you can get rid of liability, etc. We will see in the upcoming slide about it. And one of the important point in this chapter, what he has covered about is cash flow. How the cash flow is being played in poor, middle class and rich. This diagram you can see at the bottom of this slide, there is a diagram, right, which is all talking about the cash flow. You can compare the cash flow between poor, middle class and rich. So I would like to point out the cash flow of rich, where you can see the income, the most of their income is coming from asset. So what Robert is saying, concentrate on earning more asset. Don't depend only on your job, which is the income or the income salary for you, right? So you should not concentrate only on that one point of the time. You have to take a call, you have to get rid of that regular income and start acquiring asset which will bring more income for you in the long run. That's what he is talking about in this cash flow. And chapter number three, which is one of my favorite chapter, because even I was thinking long time like job and the business are same, but it is not like that. What Robert is saying, your job is something different. Okay, say if you are a salaried person, like if you can be a doctor, nurse, or a lawyer or advocate, or you can work in a civil company. That is your routine job occupation, right? But how that is differed from your business? So you need to have your own business that will generate more revenue for you, and that is the biggest asset for you. That's what Robert T. Kiyosaki is talking about in this chapter number 3. And some of the examples or the categories for the asset, what he has mentioned about is the business that do not require your presence basically. So you can start a business, you can hire the employees, you can delegate to some people, from there you can earn the money, right? So that business is generating money for you, and that will go into the asset column. That's what Robert is saying. So that business that do not require your presence is called as asset. And there are some more example also for asset, that is stocks, bond. You can invest on the bond. You have to learn it. Obviously you should learn how to invest on the stock, then only you can start playing around it. And then investing on the currencies, and investing on the real estate, and the earning the money from the royalties. So these are all called as asset. And in this chapter he has spoken in lengthy about how the money is working for 24 hours. We may sleep, but the money doesn't sleep. The money makes money 24 hours, so we don't need to worry about it. Once you invest it, it will keep generating money for you. So that's what this chapter number 3 is all about. Let's move into the chapter number 4. All right, chapter number 4, which is about the taxes and the corporation. So you might wonder who generated this tax system, right? Because we are all paying the tax, the huge tax to the government. So the tax system was generated by British people after the Second World War. Even though British won the Second World War, they lost so much money. So they started this system. Initially, they started laying tax only for the rich man, where it was agreed by poor and middle class. Okay, we are not going to pay tax, so only rich people are going to pay. So let it be. So they all agreed for it and they went for it. Later point of the time, even the middle class people, the who are salarized people also, they had to pay the tax, right? Then following British, other countries like USA also started following these tax systems. And then corporation, the corporation, which is not a big thing, as you might think. Starting the corporation or the company is very much easy thing. And each and every rich people used to own at least one corporation, through which they get so much money. How they are doing it, that's what the chapter is all about. Okay, the last two things you can concentrate on this point: how we are paying the tax. So let's take the employee who is working for the company. So the employee earn the money, and each and every month end they pay tax to the government, and then whatever is left they spend it, right? That is what the routine life of an employee. But this is not the case with the people who own the corporation. When you own the company, you earn the money and you spend it for throughout the year, and whatever is left, only for that money you are paying the tax to the government. So this is where the each and every businessman and the rich people, they know loophole of the law, and they know how to earn the money out of whatever they are earning, right? So that is how they are generating the more money. The rich people are generating more money. So that's what the chapter is all about. The chapter number 5: how the rich people, obviously the rich people are inventing the money, because they control the money. Even though, like, if you know the history of US dollar, you might think the US government is generating, but there is a separate private company, the private rich people, the group of rich people who are generating, who are making the dollar, and those group of rich people are supplying money to the US government, right? So these people are actually inventing the money. So what Robert is saying in this chapter: to invent the money, you need to take bold decision. It doesn't matter who is going ahead first, but it is the matter who is taking the bold decision. And to invent more money, to earn the more money, you shouldn't have the self doubt. And you need to have uh, very good knowledge on money end of the day. So you have to understand how money is working, how you can earn the asset. In this chapter, if you can see, like, the mind is same for everyone, but we need to train it very well, right? So that's what Robert T. Kiyosaki is talking about in this chapter number 5. And then chapter 6, where he is talking about, we need to work for learning new things, learning the things, not for money, obviously. uh, so each and everyone who is a regular salarized person, what we think, like, okay, we are getting 10 percentage or 15 percentage increment for each and every year. So they stay on same job, and their life is like a very routine thing. So there is a concept called rate race. Okay, that rate race, they trapped into that rate race, and they are not unable to get out of it. Okay, when they follow the concept called working for money. But as I covered in the first slide, Robert worked for 6 to 7 years for some other companies, and then they got out of it, and he started his own company, and he started investing on the real estate, etc. That's how he became rich man. And Robert is saying, like, you should work to learn new things, and you should not work for the money. That's what this chapter is all about. And chapter 7, okay, now you learned about finance, and you learn about how to start it, all those things, all right? And now you may face some obstacles. The very important obstacles what you might face when you try to become rich is the first thing is the fear. Okay, you might think like, it may harm me, I may lose the money, right? So you have to overcome that fear first of all, and you should not have the self doubt, you should not be lazy, and you should get out of some bad habits in terms of managing the money. Like, you can start following pay to yourself first instead paying the government first once you got your salary. And in this chapter, he is also emphasizing the point that the failure inspire the winner. So whenever you fail to do something, you have to inspire from there. You should not sit back, and you should not think like you are a loser, because everybody is facing failure in their life, is it? So you have to get out of it. So that's what he is talking about in this chapter number 7. And chapter 8. Okay, so yeah, now you learned it, how, financially, how we can become the rich, and you learned it, the basic things and all, where you have to start it. That's what this chapter number 8 is all about. He has mentioned about the power given by God, which is nothing but where he is talking about mm, managing the time, which means like, okay, the only 24 hours is given by God for everyone, but how you are managing the time. So 24 hours is same for you, me, and the millionaires, billionaires and all, right? But how they are managing that 24 hours, and what are the powers so they can manage it. So that's what this chapter is all about it. There are very good, very nice, and very useful points he has covered in this chapter. So, as I mentioned, you can pause it and go through each and every point. Chapter number 9. Okay, so now you understood what was the financial literacy, how you have to start it, what are the obstacles, how to go through it. The last things what Robert is trying to share with us is some to dos, what we need to do. Okay, so let's see, one thing is not working for you. So, okay, you have been doing it for years, but it doesn't look like working out for you. So, what you have to do, you have to pause it over there and think about it, what is working, what is not working. Then you have to take a call, right? So that's what main point that Robert is saying in to do chapter number 9. And also you have to look for the new ideas, don't stick with the old ideas, don't keep thinking the same. You have to change the format of managing the money. And yeah, so he has spoken about many things. Again, he is saying like we have to think big, we have to learn from the history, etc. And the final thoughts from Robert T. Kiyosaki. So obviously, even though money is matter, first of all, the education is very much important. Education and wisdom is very much important. And to become the rich, you have to start as early as possible. And also, he is suggesting to buy a book, read it, go for seminars, which will teach you so many things. And whatever you learn, right, you have to share it with others, so that others will learn, and others will help you to get much more wealth things. So that's what he is saying. And he is also saying about three types of income, whatever I have mentioned here, you can look at that. All right, I think this video is very useful for you. I believe you will buy this book, which is available in Tamil, Hindi, and English also. You can buy it, go through it. Definitely, this will be a life-changing book for you. I would recommend to buy and read this book, and I wish everyone to become rich man. Thank you, everyone. Please subscribe for this channel. That will motivate me to review a lot of books. Thank you for your time.